Hey there, plebs and pros. Here it is. I've been talking about it for like 4 days now, and I'm finally doing it. It's a team review / analysis for my special Season 8 team. So, still time to use it this weekend before the season finishes. So, yeah, let's get into it. The main idea behind my special team is to wreak havoc with this fat nuisance, Yveltal. And set up screens for it, and if they manage to knock Yveltal out, then send in Ditto to get whatever's been stat boosting and then KO it back. So we'll start off with Serperia. Serperia is an incredible screen setter in this format. The only things that really scare it from being a lead are Mega Salamence, Mega Gengar, some versions of Greninja, and I guess Taunt or Prankster uses Tapu Koko, because it can outspeed it with Taunt, and Prankster Taunt uses. Anything else, you're golden. You can set up your screens, and it's just ridiculous how good Serperia is if it can get its screens up. So you want to go, so I've gone full HP investment, full speed investment, and the 4 in special defense so that you don't give the download boost, the special attack boost to Porygon 2 or Porygon Z. And so Light Screen, Reflect, Leaf Storm, and Glare. We really like Glare because you can paralyze ground types. Leaf Storm just to pressure people into knocking you out, because you'll run the contrary, and we use Light Clay so that we get the 8 turns of the screens instead of the regular 5. So yeah, you lead Serperia, get your screens up, get a glare off, get knocked out, hopefully, and then bring in Yveltal. Yveltal is absolutely stupidly strong behind screens. It can survive any version of any version of Gigavolt Havoc. So Tapu Koko in electric terrain cannot OHKO this Yveltal behind Light Screen and Reflect, even if it's modest and using Thunder, or if it's adamant and using Wild Charge. Neither Z move can knock this out behind screens. So that's really cool. You can also survive Let's Snuggle Forever from Mimikyu, followed up by another Play Rough. And you can also one-shot Mimikyu with a +2 Sucker Punch, which is, it's just absurd how strong this is. You can one-shot Tapu Lele with a +2 Dark Pulse. And with the Heat Wave, you can even take on Mega Mawile. Like, you can take a Play Rough easy, almost knock it out with a Heat Wave. I reckon you'd knock it out with a +2 Heat Wave. It's just crazy. The only things that this version of Yveltal has problems with are Tyranitar and Dark Arceus. Pretty much everything else, I haven't had problems with like anything else. Z Celebrate Ho-Oh is tough to get around if you haven't got it poisoned. And maybe just a few other things that are a bit difficult. So yeah, you could run Toxic on this to have a better shot at dealing with Tyranitar and Dark Arceus, but it's way better to have something to fight Mega Mawile and Ferrothorn with, in my opinion. So yeah, I put Heat Wave on it. Got the Ditto, so if your opponent manages to boost to a crazy extent and knock Yveltal out, it happens from time to time. You got Sash Ditto to come in. So Sash Ditto is awesome in this format. I'm surprised that it hasn't been a little bit more common. I guess people tend to put their Sash on something else, which is fair enough, but I've had some amazing success with Ditto. The way I see it, why would you want to have just one legendary when you can potentially be running 2? So yeah, Ditto's been really good in this format. Gengar, I changed the moveset of my Gengar. I was running Hypnosis, Hex, Substitute, and Sludge Bomb, but I changed it over to be essentially a replacement for Serperia. So if you can't bring Serperia because they've got Mega Salamence, Mega Salamence was definitely the main reason that I wouldn't bring Serperia to games. Yeah, you can Icy Wind, which is really good. You can Destiny Bond things. I had one game where I Icy Winded Landorus Therian, and I guess they were either Life Orb or banned because the Icy Wind one-shot them, and then they followed up with an Excadrill, which wasn't scarfed either. So I Destiny Bond, and then I could just 1v2 with Yveltal and Ditto. It's pretty awesome if you can pull that off. So not a bad replacement for Serperia there. Initially I put Gengar on the team because it's just a great Mega. It outspeeds the Ultra Necrozma, and you can switch Yveltal in on all 4 attacks that are super effective against it. So you can switch Yveltal in on an Earthquake, on a Dark Pulse, on a Shadow Ball, on a Psychic, and they just kind of have good synergy together. So yeah, that's Gengar. You can also use Gengar as a replacement for Ditto if you want to. So just go Serperia, Yveltal, and Gengar. That can work as well. I've got Mimikyu on the team basically just as my Z-move user. I initially had it as a Curse variant to deal with tanks because this team kind of struggles with tanks. But the addition of this Mimikyu, and we'll get to the Charizard in a minute, yeah, it helps to deal with tanks a little bit. So it is a bulky Mimikyu. I just went for full investment in HP and attack. And yeah, Will-O-Wisp, you can Will-O-Wisp Alolan Muck, and you can also, this Mimikyu will help you deal with normal Arceus as well. So you can Will-O-Wisp it and Drain Punch it. It cannot extreme speed you. And yeah, a reasonably good answer for that. Let's Snuggle Forever is just always good. So yeah, Mimikyu. I just couldn't really think of anything else to put on the team, really. Now, this is the final Pokemon that I put on the team. So I did experiment with a Ferrothorn and a Garchomp, and I was considering Thundurus Incarnate for a little while. I ended up going with Charizard, and I only ended up bringing it to one game. But it really did matter in the end. That was to counter Z Celebrate Ho-Oh. So my team really struggles against the Z Celebrate Ho-Oh QR team. The EVs, I put one more speed EV so you can outspeed Breloom, and this at +1 will also outspeed base 130s. So that's really cool. I put the rest into HP. It probably would have been feasible to boost it up to 137 so you can be faster than base 135s. Probably would have been just as good, but it's at 135. So yeah, instead of getting the weakness policy to go off, you just boost it normally. So you use Flame Charge and Swords Dance, and then you can Earthquake and Dragon Claw. It is sort of annoying not having Flare Blitz on this Charizard, but I feel like Earthquake and Dragon Claw are a little bit more relevant to this meta, and once you get a Swords Dance off, Flame Charge actually deals quite a lot of damage. So yeah, the majority of games I definitely found myself bringing these three, Serperia, Yveltal, and Ditto, but I really think these three also, Gengar, Mimikyu, and Charizard, do provide good team support for those main three, if in cases that you need to bring them. So I'll leave the QR code in the description. I hope for anyone using the team this weekend you pick up some wins, and I'll catch you next time on the journey from pleb to pro.